My beloved child, listen carefully. This is not a random moment. This is not coincidence. This is not just another video crossing your path. Archangel Michael is speaking directly to you. This message is your final call from heaven. Open it now. Something has been weighing heavily in the spiritual realm, and heaven has waited patiently for this exact second to reach you. If your heart is beating a little faster right now, if your spirit feels alert, that is because this message is already activating something within you. There is a reason you were drawn here. Many were invited, but only a few stayed long enough to hear this voice. And you are one of them. Heaven has observed your silence, your endurance, and the moments when you almost gave up but didn't. What you are about to hear is not meant for everyone. It is meant for the one who hath been standing at the edge, wondering if God still sees them. A line has been drawn in the spiritual realm. This is not a warning meant to frighten you. It is a call meant to awaken you. Archangel Michael is stepping forward now, not with judgment, but with urgency. The time for delays has ended. The season of hesitation is closing. Heaven is asking for your attention because what comes next depends on how you respond now. You have been asking for a sign. Sometimes in whispers, sometimes in tears, sometimes in exhaustion. You ask God, show me if I'm still chosen. Show me if this struggle has meaning. And this is the answer. This message is the confirmation you asked for, even if you didn't expect it to arrive like this. There is something crucial you must understand. The final call does not mean the end of hope. It means the end of waiting. Heaven does not issue final calls lightly. They come when everything is already aligned, when protection is ready, when doors are prepared to open, and when delay would cost more than action. This is why Archangel Michael's voice is firm right now. You have been standing between two decisions. One keeps you safe but stagnant. The other feels risky but divinely guided. Heaven is not forcing you, but it is making itself clear. Remaining where you are will no longer protect you. Only movement will. There is also a hidden battle you have not seen. Behind the scenes, your name has been spoken in places you never entered. Not to harm you, but to test your resolve. The enemy believed you would quit quietly. Heaven knew you wouldn't. That is why this call is being released now. You may feel tired. You may feel like you have already given everything you had. But heaven is not asking for your strength. It is asking for your surrender. When Archangel Michael speaks, it is not to burden you. It is to remind you that you were never meant to fight alone. Pay attention to this next truth. The reason this feels urgent is because a window is opening. Opportunities do not announce themselves loudly. They appear briefly, wrapped in fear, wrapped in uncertainty. Many miss them because they wait for comfort before obedience. This is where destinies quietly slip away, but not yours. There is something connected to your obedience that affects more than just you. Your decision carries weight for your family, for someone who watches you silently, for a future version of you that is waiting to be released. Heaven sees the chain reaction. That is why this call is final. Do not misunderstand this message. God is not angry with you. Heaven is not disappointed. This urgency comes from love. When a parent sees danger ahead, they do not whisper. They call out clearly. This is that moment. Archangel Michael is standing in defense over you even now. Protection has already been assigned. Guidance has already been issued. But action must follow alignment. Faith without movement keeps miracles locked. If you are feeling resistance in your spirit, that is not a sign to leave. That is a sign you are exactly where truth is breaking through. The enemy resists revelation. Heaven confirms it. Take a breath. Let this sink in. You were not overlooked. You were being prepared. And now the preparation phase is ending. This is not the end of your story. This is the turning point. And what happens next will require courage, honesty, and trust. Heaven has done its part. Now the call has reached you. If your spirit is alert right now, if something inside you is saying, "This is for me," then say right here, what is coming next will bring clarity to what you must do, and why delaying any longer would cost you more than you realize. My chosen one, hear this with a calm but attentive heart. What you felt in the last moments was not emotion alone. It was recognition. Something ancient within you responded because truth always awakens what has been dormant. Archangel Michael does not speak to stir curiosity. He speaks to restore alignment. And now the message goes deeper, because heaven wants you to understand why this call reached you and why it could not wait any longer. You have been protected more times than you realize. There were situations that should have broken you, conversations that should have destroyed your peace, and decisions that could have taken your life in a completely different direction. Yet somehow, you were diverted. Delays happened. Plans collapsed. Libel walked away. At the time, it felt like loss, but it was mercy disguised as interruption. Archangel Michael was standing in the gap, redirecting what you could not see. The reason heaven is speaking now is because protection alone is no longer enough. You are stepping into a phase where awareness is required. You cannot walk into the next season unaware of your authority, unaware of your calling, unaware of the responsibility attached to your name. The enemy does not fear your comfort. The enemy fears your clarity. And clarity is being released right now. Here's something you have been postponing. You told yourself you would act when things felt safer, calmer, more stable. But heaven is revealing this truth to you gently and clearly. Safety is not found in waiting. It is found in obedience. Archangel Michael is not urging you to rush blindly. He is asking you to trust deliberately. You were never meant to fit into environments that shrink you. The discomfort you feel when you settle is not weakness. It is your spirit rejecting limitation. You have tried to silence it, to adapt, to be grateful for less than what God promised you. But heaven will not allow you to remain in places that contradict your assignment. Understand this clearly. The final call does not mean God will abandon you if you hesitate. It means the cost of delay has increased. Every season has a grace window. When that window opens, things flow with divine ease. When it closes, the same actions require unnecessary struggle. Heaven is inviting you to move while grace is abundant. There is also something deeply personal here. Someone close to you is affected by your decision more than they will ever say. Your courage gives them permission to hope. Your obedience creates a path they are afraid to walk first. Heaven often chooses one in the family, one in the circle, one in the generation, to break the pattern. That one is you. You may ask, why me? And heaven answers, because you listen. Even when you are tired. Even when you doubt yourself. Even when you feel unqualified. You still turn your heart toward God. That posture matters more than perfection ever will. Archangel Michael's role is not only protection but direction. Right now, he is guiding your attention. Notice what has been repeatedly placed in front of you. Notice the doors that keep reappearing even after you ignore them. And notice the restlessness that will not go away. These are not distractions. They are invitations. And before we go any further, pause for a moment. If this message is reaching you, if it is stirring something deep within you, I want you to engage with it. Like this message so it reaches others who are also waiting for clarity. Share it with someone who has been carrying confusion in silence. Leave a comment declaring that you are ready to hear heaven clearly. And if this space has been feeding your spirit, subscribe and stay connected, because these messages are not random. They are timely. And now listen closely. You are not late. That is a lie you have been carrying for too long. Heaven operates outside of human timelines. What feels delayed to you has been perfectly preserved. Nothing meant for you has been given away. Nothing destined for you has expired. What is required now is your agreement with what heaven has already decided. There will be resistance. Not always loud, not always obvious. Sometimes it will sound like logic. Sometimes it will wear the voice of people you respect. Sometimes it will even come disguised as humility. But anything that tells you to shrink back when heaven says step forward is not wisdom. It is fear wearing a mask. Archangel Michael is reminding you that you do not move alone. When you take one step, heaven responds with reinforcement. Resources align. Conversations shift. Support appears where you least expect it. This is how divine momentum works. Do not rush ahead of God, but do not lag behind either. Stay in step. Stay sensitive. Stay willing. The clarity you are seeking is not far away. It is unfolding layer by layer, exactly as much as you need, exactly when you need it. And before you let your mind wander, or doubt creep back in, hold on just a little longer. What comes next will connect the urgency you feel with the specific area of your life heaven is addressing. This is where things start to make sense. My precious one, receive this gently, but do not dismiss its weight. What is being revealed now is not surface-level guidance. This is a mirror being lifted by heaven itself. Archangel Michael is drawing your attention inward, because the next shift in your life does not begin with circumstances changing around you. It begins with alignment happening within you. You have been trying to make sense of everything by looking outward. You analyzed people's behavior. You questioned timing. You replayed conversations. You wondered why doors closed the way they did. But heaven says the real breakthrough comes when you stop asking, what went wrong out there? And start asking, what is God activating in me right now? There is a version of you that heaven has been patiently waiting for. Not a perfect version. A surrendered one. A bold one. A willing one. The resistance you have felt lately is not because you are doing something wrong. It is because you are standing at the edge of something right, and your old self cannot go where your future self is about to walk. Archangel Michael is revealing this truth clearly. You cannot carry yesterday's mindset into tomorrow's assignment. Some habits must fall away. Some thought patterns must be confronted. Some attachments must be released, not because they are evil, but because they are heavy. You are being prepared for movement, and unnecessary weight will slow you down. You have outgrown certain emotional responses. The way you used to react, retreat, or remain silent no longer fits who you are becoming. Heaven is not asking you to harden your heart. It is asking you to strengthen your discernment. There is a difference. Discernment allows you to love without losing yourself. Pay attention to what drains you lately. What once felt manageable now feels exhausting. That is not weakness. That is your spirit signaling that it is time for change. Growth always demands adjustment, and adjustment always feels uncomfortable before it feels freeing. There is also a deep healing happening that you may not have words for yet. Old disappointments are being revisited, not to reopen wounds, but to finally close them properly. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian over this process. Nothing is being exposed to shame you. It is being revealed to release you. Heaven knows you are tired of repeating cycles. You told God you do not want another year that looks like the last. This is the response to that prayer. But understand this clearly. New seasons require new decisions. You cannot pray your way into transformation while refusing to move differently. You are not being asked to figure everything out. You are being asked to trust step by step. Clarity does not come all at once. It comes with obedience. Each unlocks the next instruction. Each act of faith sharpens your spiritual hearing. There is a fire being reignited in you. A sense of purpose you tried to quiet because it felt too big, too unrealistic, too demanding. But heaven never placed that fire in you by accident. Archangel Michael is stirring it now, not to overwhelm you, but to remind you who you are. You are not ordinary. That truth may make you uncomfortable, but it is still true. You carry influence without trying. Your words linger longer than you think. Your choices ripple further than you can see. This is why your alignment matters so much. Do not compare your path to anyone else's. Heaven custom designed your journey. What works for others may not work for you. What looks slow may actually be precise. What feels delayed may be protected timing. Right now, heaven is asking you to let go of the need to be understood by everyone. Obedience will not always be applauded. Growth will not always be celebrated. Sometimes the loudest confirmations come from peace, not people. Archangel Michael is standing firm beside you, reminding you that you are not alone in this transition. Protection surrounds you as you shed old layers. Strength is being poured into you where you felt weakest. Courage is rising quietly, but steadily. If this message is resonating, if you feel something settling into place within you, acknowledge it. This is not emotional hype. This is spiritual recognition. Type "I receive the call" in the comments if this message is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 9431 has just been released over your life. And now, hear this sacred invitation flowing naturally from this moment. As this word reaches you, it is also meant to reach others who are standing at the same crossroads. The Lord says He gives seed to the sower, and today He is placing seed in your hand, not just for yourself, but for souls who are still waiting to hear this call. I feel led to say this clearly. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are lighting lamps in dark places. This is fertile ground, and every seed sown here releases harvest in places you may never see but heaven records. I declare that as you respond, rivers will not run dry in your life, and doors will open with divine ease. Do not delay what God is prompting now. Obey the nudge, release the seed, and watch how heaven responds swiftly. My beloved one, now the tone shifts, not because heaven has changed its mind, but because your spirit is ready to hear more. What comes next is not meant to pressure you. It is meant to position you. Archangel Michael is still present, steady and unwavering, but now his voice carries reassurance alongside authority. You are not being pushed into the unknown. You are being led into alignment. There has been a quiet fear sitting beneath your prayers. You may not have named it clearly, but it has been there. The fear is not a failure alone. It is the fear of change actually working. The fear that if things truly shift, you will have to let go of identities, roles, and expectations that once defined you. Heaven sees this internal struggle, and it is not disappointed by it. You have survived by being adaptable. You learned how to endure, how to compromise, how to keep peace even when it cost you truth. Those skills protected you in earlier seasons, but now they are becoming limitations. Archangel Michael is revealing that survival strategies must not become permanent lifestyles. What kept you alive is not what will make you fulfilled. There is a new level of responsibility coming with the clarity you are receiving. Responsibility does not mean burden. It means stewardship. You are being entrusted with greater insight, stronger discernment, and clearer direction. Heaven does not give these lightly. They are given to those who have proven they will not abuse them. Notice how your tolerance for certain things has changed. Conversations that once entertained you now feel empty. Environments that once felt safe now feel restrictive. This is not judgment. This is maturity. You are being refined, not isolated. Archangel Michael is also aggressing your understanding of strength. You once believed strength meant holding everything together without help. Heaven is redefining that for you. True strength is knowing when to release control and allow divine order to take over. You are not losing control. You are transferring it to the one who sees the full picture. There is a specific area of your life where you have been asking for confirmation again and again. Heaven is responding now with this truth. You already know what to do. The delay has not been about lack of instruction. It has been about fear of outcome. But heaven is reminding you that obedience is your responsibility. Outcomes belong to God. You are not responsible for how others react to your obedience. You are responsible for honoring the call. Some people will misunderstand your shift. Some will question your choices. Some may even distance themselves. This does not mean you chose wrong. It means you chose growth. Archangel Michael is guarding your transition. What feels uncertain to you is already secured in the spiritual realm. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into order, even if it does not look orderly yet. Let go of the need to explain yourself fully. Not everyone needs access to your process. Some things are meant to be walked out quietly until fruit appears. Heaven values humility over announcements. You may also notice a deepening of your spiritual sensitivity. Dreams may become more vivid. Convictions may become clearer. Peace may replace anxiety in moments where fear once dominated. These are signs of alignment. You not ignore them. Honor them. There is nothing wrong with grieving what you are leaving behind. Growth always includes a form of loss. But do not confuse grief with regret. You can honor what was while still stepping boldly into what is. Archangel Michael reminds you now that you are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are precisely where heaven can reach you most clearly. The call came when you were ready to respond, not when you felt ready to act. You are learning to walk by trust, not by proof. Faith is not blind. It is focused. It fixes its eyes on God rather than circumstances. And as you do this, something subtle but powerful is happening. Your confidence is being rebuilt, not on ego, but on truth. Remain open. Remain teachable. Remain courageous. What heaven is unfolding will require patience, but it will also bring peace. You are not chasing something that will drain you. You are answering a call that will align you. Take this moment seriously, but do not take it fearfully. You are held. You are guided. You are protected. And as this journey continues, the pieces will come together in ways you could not have planned. Stay attentive. What is coming next will speak directly to the timing of what you have been waiting for and why heaven chose now to speak so clearly to you. My dear one, now heaven draws your focus to something very specific. This is where the message becomes practical, not abstract. Archangel Michael is not only revealing who you are becoming, but also preparing you for what is about to shift around you. Spiritual clarity always precedes visible change. What you are sensing internally will soon echo externally. There has been a waiting season that tested your patience more than your faith. You believed God, but you questioned timing. You trusted His power, but you struggled with His pace. Heaven acknowledges this honestly. Waiting is not passive. It stretches endurance. And you have endured more quietly than most people know. What you must understand now is that waiting does not mean inactivity. Even when nothing seemed to move, you were being positioned. Your character was being strengthened. Your discernment was being sharpened. Your dependence on external validation was being loosened. These were not delays. They were preparations. Archangel Michael is revealing that the next shift will require you to respond quickly. Not emotionally, but decisively. When the door opens, hesitation will feel heavier than action. This is why heaven hath been speaking to you repeatedly. Familiarity with God's voice builds confidence in moments that require swift obedience. You have asked for assurance that you will not make the wrong move. Hear this clearly. Obedience removes the fear of failure. When God directs a step, He also guards the outcome. You are not stepping into uncertainty alone. You are stepping into partnership. There is also a correction being made in how you view opposition. Resistance is not always a sign you are off track. Often, it confirms you are aligned. The enemy does not waste energy on directions that lead nowhere. The pressure you have felt is evidence that your movement matters. Archangel Michael reminds you that authority is not something you wait to receive later. It is something you must recognize now. You carry spiritual authority not because of titles, status, or perfection, but because heaven has entrusted you with influence. And influence demands responsibility. You are being asked to speak when you would normally stay quiet, to step forward when you would normally step back, to choose integrity when compromise would be easier. These are not dramatic actions. They are daily decisions, and daily decisions shape destiny. There is also a shift happening in how you relate to God. Your prayers are becoming more honest, less rehearsed, less formal, more real. Heaven values this intimacy. Relationship always precedes revelation. You are learning to listen, not just speak. Do not be surprised if certain people begin to drift out of alignment with you. This is not abandonment. It is redirection. God often removes voices that no longer support the direction He is taking you. Trust Him enough to let go without resentment. Archangel Michael is guarding your heart during this transition. You may feel moments of vulnerability. Old fears may attempt to resurface, but they no longer hold the same authority. You are not who you were, and you are not going back. Heaven is also addressing your concern about sustainability. You wonder if you will have the strength to maintain what God is asking of you. The answer is yes, but not through self-effort. Grace sustains what obedience initiates. You will not burn out following God's lead. Be mindful of what you feed your spirit in this season. What you listen to, what you meditate on, what you agree with internally. Alignment is maintained through intentional focus. Protect your peace. It is part of your assignment. You are stepping into a season where discernment matters more than enthusiasm. Not everything that looks good is God. Not every open door is yours to walk through. But the doors that are meant for you will carry peace even when they stretch you. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that heaven's order is being established in your life. Confusion is lifting. Fog is clearing. Direction is forming. You may not see the full path yet, but you can see the next step. And that is enough. Do not rush the process, but do not resist it either. Flow with what God is doing. Yield to the shaping. Trust the guidance. The same God who called you is committed to completing the work He began in you. You are closer than you think. Not just to answers, but to alignment. Not just to change, but to purpose. Hold steady. Remain attentive. What heaven reveals next will bring confirmation to the questions you have been carrying the longest. My faithful one, there is a settling happening in your spirit right now, and it is important you recognize it. This is not emotional calm. This is spiritual alignment. Archangel Michael is drawing your awareness to the fact that you are no longer standing at the threshold. You have already stepped forward internally, even if your external world has not fully caught up yet. Many people believe change begins when circumstances shift, but heaven reveals something different. Change begins when resistance leaves your heart, and something has softened in you. Where fear once argued loudly, it now speaks faintly. Where doubt once demanded proof, it now listens quietly. This is progress, even if it feels subtle. You are learning the language of peace, not the kind that avoids conflict, but the kind that remains steady in the middle of uncertainty. This peace is not accidental. It is the result of trust-forming roots. Archangel Michael is guarding this peace because it will become your compass in the days ahead. There is something heaven wants you to release right now, the pressure to have everything figured out. That pressure never came from God. It came from comparison, expectation, and survival instincts. God does not require full understanding before obedience. He requires willingness, and you have already given that. You may notice that certain decisions now feel clearer than they did before. Not easy, but clear. Clarity does not remove challenge. It removes confusion. You are being led out of mental noise into focused direction. Archangel Michael is also reminding you that your obedience has influence beyond your awareness. There are people who will never hear a sermon, never open scripture, never sit in a place of worship, but they will watch your life. Your consistency, your integrity, your peace under pressure will speak louder than words ever could. This is why your choices matter so deeply. You are not just choosing for yourself. You are modeling what trust looks like in real life. Heaven trusts you with this role because you have walked through enough to speak without hypocrisy. You may feel a growing desire to simplify. Fewer distractions. Fewer obligations that drain you. More intention. More stillness. This is not withdrawal. This is refinement. Focus is increasing because your assignment requires it. There is also a correction happening in how you see rest. Rest is not escape. It is preparation. Heaven invites you to rest not because you are weak, but because what is ahead deserves your full strength. Even Archangel Michael does not rush without purpose. Neither should you. Now, pause here for a moment. If this message is strengthening you, grounding you, and bringing clarity, do not keep it to yourself. Like this message so it can reach others who need reassurance right now. Share it with someone who has been carrying quiet pressure. Leave a comment declaring that you are choosing alignment over fear. And if you have not yet, subscribe and stay connected, because what is unfolding here is part of an ongoing journey, not a single moment. Heaven also wants you to adjust your expectations of speed. Some things will move quickly. Others will unfold gradually. Both are intentional. Rapid movement builds momentum. Slow unfolding builds depth. You need both. Archangel Michael is protecting you from rushing into things that look right but are not aligned. Discernment is sharpening. Trust it. That pause you feel before certain decisions is not hesitation. It is wisdom forming. There will be moments when old patterns attempt to resurface, especially under stress. This does not mean you have failed. It means growth is being tested. Tests are not punishments. They are confirmations. You are learning to respond rather than react. This is a sign of maturity. The action is driven by emotion. Response is guided by discernment. Heaven celebrates this shift more than you realize. There is also a strengthening happening in your voice. You may feel prompted to speak truth more clearly, set boundaries more firmly, and express needs more honestly. This is not rebellion. It is alignment. You are no longer betraying yourself to keep peace. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement despite it. And you are moving, even when it feels slow. Do not underestimate the power of consistency in this season. Small, faithful steps create lasting change. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. You only need to stay aligned. Before your mind jumps ahead or distractions pull you away, stay with this moment a little longer. What is coming next will connect your inner alignment with the external shift you have been waiting to see. This is where things begin to turn visibly. My beloved one, now heaven speaks to the space between promise and manifestation. This is the place few understand, yet many abandon. Archangel Michael is drawing your attention here because what happens in this space determines how you will carry what is coming next. Blessings are not only received, they are stewarded. And you are being trained to carry increase without losing alignment. You may feel a strange tension lately, as if something is forming but not fully visible. This is not frustration without purpose. This is expectancy being refined. Heaven often allows you to sense the shift before you see it, so that your spirit leads before your eyes do. Faith matures in unseen spaces. There is a temptation you must be aware of in this phase, the temptation to interpret silence as absence. Just because heaven is quiet does not mean heaven is inactive. Some of the most significant movements happen without noise. Archangel Michael reminds you that silence is often a sign of precision, not neglect. You are learning to trust God without constant reassurance. This does not mean God is withdrawing His love. It means He is strengthening your confidence. Parents step back not to abandon, but to allow growth. Heaven is doing the same with you. There is also a refinement happening in your motives. What once drove you was urgency. Now it is obedience. What once put you was fear of lack. Now it is trust in provision. This shift matters more than outcomes. God cares deeply about how you arrive, not just where you arrive. You may notice that your prayers are changing. You are asking fewer questions and listening more. You are requesting less explanation and offering more surrender. This is intimacy. This is maturity. This is the kind of relationship heaven responds to quickly. Archangel Michael is also addressing something delicate. You must not return to old coping mechanisms when pressure rises. Isolation, overthinking, emotional withdrawal, or seeking validation from the wrong places will only blur what God has made clear. When pressure comes, lean into God, not away from Him. Heaven is inviting you to remain present, not rushing ahead mentally, not reliving past disappointments. Presence anchors faith. When you stay present, you hear more clearly, respond more wisely, and rest more deeply. There is also a recalibration happening in how you view success. Heaven is redefining it for you. Success is not speed. It is alignment. Success is not a pause. It is peace. Success is not control. It is trust. What God is building in you will last because it is rooted in truth. You are being protected from shortcuts. What looks like a faster route would cost you depth. Heaven prefers preparation over acceleration. And although your flesh may want quick results, Your spirit knows the value of process. Archangel Michael stands guard as old distractions lose their grip. Things that once consumed your attention no longer hold the same power. This is not boredom. This is clarity. When purpose opens, distractions fade naturally. You may feel moments of loneliness even while being aligned. Do not misinterpret this. Separation often precedes elevation. Heaven sometimes pulls you aside to speak clearly, without noise, without interference. This is not punishment. This is privilege. There is also a strengthening of your discernment regarding people. You are beginning to sense intentions rather than just words, energy rather than appearances. This is not judgment. This is wisdom. And wisdom protects what God is building. Archangel Michael reminds you that spiritual growth is not linear. Some days will feel powerful. Others will feel quiet. Both are necessary. Do not chase constant intensity. Faithfulness matters more. You are not required to impress heaven. You are invited to walk with it. Stop striving to perform spiritually. Authentic obedience carries more weight than dramatic gestures. Something important must be said now. You are allowed to hope again. Not coyiously. Not guardedly. Fully. Hope is not foolish when it is anchored in God. The disappointment you once experienced does not disqualify future joy. It prepared you to receive it wisely. Heaven sees the integrity of your heart. It sees the unseen sacrifices. It sees the private prayers. Nothing hath been wasted. Nothing has been ignored. Timing has been intentional. Remain steady here. Do not pull back because things feel quiet. Do not rush forward because things feel close. Walk at heaven's pace. It is always exacted. What comes next will speak directly to restoration, what is being returned, what is being rebuilt, and why this season will not look like the last. Stay attentive. You are closer than ever. My chosen one, now heaven turns your attention toward restoration. Not partial repair, not temporary relief, but divine restoration that reaches deeper than you expected. Archangel Michael is speaking clearly here because many misunderstand what restoration truly means. It is not about returning you to who you were. It is about rebuilding you into who you were always meant to be. There are pieces of your life that felt stolen. Time you cannot get back. Trust that was broken. Joy that slowly faded under pressure. You learned to function without it, convincing yourself that survival was enough. But heaven never intended survival to be your final state. What you adapted to endure, God now intends to heal. Restoration does not arrive loudly. It often begins quietly, with perspective shifting before circumstances do. You are starting to see past events differently. What once felt like rejection now reveals protection. What once felt like delay now shows divine timing. This is restoration of vision, and it always comes first. Archangel Michael is guarding this phase carefully because restoration requires vulnerability. You must allow God to touch places you learned to armor. You must release the identity of being the strong one who never needs help. Heaven does not restore what you refuse to uncover. There is something returning to you in this season that you thought was gone forever. Not in the same form, but with greater depth. It may be confidence. It may be creativity. It may be hope. It may be the ability to trust again. Whatever it is, it will feel familiar and new at the same time. You are also being restored relationally, but not always through reconciliation. Sometimes restoration comes through replacement. God removes what damaged you and introduces what honors you. Do not cling to what heaven has already released. New alignment requires new connections. Archangel Michael reminds you that restoration is not instant gratification. It is intentional rebuilding. Foundations are being strengthened so that what is rebuilt will not collapse under pressure again. This takes patience, but it produces permanence. Notice how your tolerance for dishonor has disappeared. You no longer excuse disrespect. You no longer minimize your own needs. This is restoration of self-worth. Heaven is teaching you to value what it values. There is also restoration happening in your spiritual authority. You are praying with more confidence, listening with more clarity, responding with more peace. This is not coincidence. This is alignment bearing fruit. You may feel moments of grief as restoration unfolds. Grief for what could have been. Grief for how long it took. This is normal. Let it pass through you without settling in you. Grief honors the past. Hope builds the future. Archangel Michael is also correcting a lie you carried, that you missed your chance. Heaven says nothing meant for you has passed you by. Timing has protected you from receiving things before you were ready to sustain them. Restoration also means boundaries. You cannot rebuild while remaining exposed to what broke you. God is teaching you discernment not to isolate you, but to protect the work being done. You are stepping into a season where peace becomes your confirmation. If something costs you peace, it is too expensive. Restoration aligns you with what brings life, not constant struggle. Heaven wants you to understand that restored things must be stewarded. Old patterns cannot return. Old compromises cannot be entertained. Restoration is maintained through obedience. Archangel Michael stands watch as heaven redeems what the enemy tried to distort. What once caused pain will now produce wisdom. What once brought tears will now bring testimony. Nothing has been wasted. If this restoration message is landing in your spirit, respond to it. Type "I receive restoration" in the comments if this is for you. Blessing code 6814 is now activated over your life. And now, let this moment flow into action. As restoration touches you, heaven invites you to become a channel of restoration for others. The Lord declares that those who sow into living ground will reap in due season. Right now, this word is reaching hearts that are on the edge, and your obedience helps carry it further. I speak this as a direct invitation. When you release support through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are placing oil on a flame God Himself ignited. This is not a donation. It is a prophetic response. As you give, I declare restoration over your resources, peace over your household, and favor over every step you take. Do not hesitate when heaven is prompting. Act now, release the seed, and watch how God restores beyond expectation. My beloved one, now heaven speaks about stability, because restoration without stability does not last. Archangel Michael is guiding your focus toward what will sustain you long after the excitement of change settles. This is where roots go deep, where faith becomes rhythm, and where your life begins to move with quiet confidence instead of constant effort. You are entering a season where consistency will matter more than intensity. In the past, you survived on bursts of strength, moments of inspiration, and emergency prayers. But heaven is teaching you how to live from a place of steadiness. Not striving, not rushing, simply aligned. This is a sign of maturity, not complacency. There has been an internal shift in how you handle pressure. Situations that once overwhelmed you now pause you instead. You reflect before reacting. You pray before panicking. You breathe before responding. This is not accidental. This is spiritual formation. Archangel Michael has been reinforcing your inner foundation so that external storms no longer shake you the same way. Heaven is also teaching you to recognize what is yours to carry and what is not. You are not responsible for fixing everyone. You are not required to absorb every emotion in the room. You are not obligated to explain yourself endlessly. Boundaries are becoming clear because peace is becoming more valuable. There is a quiet authority settling on you. You do not need to announce it. You do not need to defend it. People will sense it. Your presence will speak before your words do. This authority does not come from control. It comes from alignment. When heaven backs your steps, confidence follows naturally. Archangel Michael is reminding you that stability does not mean stagnation. You will still grow. You will still stretch. You will still encounter unfamiliar territory. But you will do so from a grounded place, not from desperation. Growth rooted in peace lasts longer than growth driven by fear. You may notice that your priorities are rearranging themselves. What once seemed urgent now feels unnecessary. What once felt optional now feels essential. Time with God feels less like discipline and more like nourishment. This is alignment deepening. There is also a strengthening of your discernment around opportunities. You are no longer chasing everything that looks promising. You are waiting for what feels aligned. This patience is not hesitation. It is wisdom. Heaven often withholds clarity until it knows you will not rush ahead without it. Archangel Michael stands guard over your thought life in this season. Old mental loops are losing their grip. Self-criticism is being replaced with self-awareness. Condemnation is giving way to conviction that leads to growth, not shame. This mental stability is part of your restoration. You are also learning how to trust yourself again. Not in arrogance, but in discernment. You have learned from past mistakes. You have grown through past pain. You are not the same person who made those decisions. Heaven acknowledges your growth, and it invites you to do the same. There may be moments when you miss the familiarity of chaos. This sounds strange, but it is real. When peace becomes normal, the absence of drama can feel unsettling at first. Do not confuse familiarity with safety. What feels calm now is what you prayed for then. Archangel Michael reminds you that obedience becomes easier when trust deepens. You are no longer questioning God's intentions at every turn. You are learning His nature. You are beginning to recognize His voice not just in direction, but in reassurance. There is also a preparation happening for leadership, whether you recognize it or not. Leadership does not always mean a title. It means influence. It means example. It means responsibility. Heaven prepares leaders quietly, shaping character long before visibility arrives. You are being trained to respond rather than react, to lead with integrity rather than impulse, and to choose truth even when it costs comfort. These qualities are being woven into you naturally now. Archangel Michael is reinforcing your ability to wait without anxiety. Waiting no longer feels like punishment. It feels like trust. This is a profound shift. When waiting becomes peaceful, it means fear has loosened its hold. Do not underestimate this season because it feels calm. Calm is not empty. Calm is full of strength. Calm is where vision clarifies. Calm is where endurance is built. You are not falling behind. You are settling into pace. Heaven's pace. And heaven's pace is always sustainable. Stay grounded here. Do not rush to the next thing prematurely. Let stability finish its work in you. What comes next will require this foundation, and you are being prepared wisely. Remain attentive. What heaven reveals next will speak about increase and responsibility, and how to carry blessings without losing humility or peace. My chosen one, now heaven speaks about increase, because stability prepares you to carry more. Archangel Michael is guiding this moment carefully, because increase without wisdom can become a burden instead of a blessing. What God is preparing to add to your life will require maturity, discernment, and humility working together. Increase does not always arrive as more money, more attention, or more opportunity at first. Often it arrives as more responsibility, more clarity, and more influence. Heaven increases what you can be trusted with, and you are being trusted because you have learned how to remain aligned without becoming prideful or fearful. You may have noticed that people are starting to seek your perspective more. They may not say it directly, but they watch how you respond, how you remain calm, how you navigate pressure. This is influence growing quietly. You do not need to announce it. Heaven promotes without noise. Archangel Michael reminds you that with increase comes refinement. Small compromises that once felt harmless will now feel heavy. Distractions that once passed unnoticed will now disturb your peace. This is not restriction. This is protection. Greater integrity. You are also being taught how to receive without guilt. In the past, you may have felt undeserving of good things, questioning why blessings came to you when others struggled. Heaven is healing this mindset. Blessings are not rewards for perfection. They are tools for purpose. Here is a responsibility attached to what is coming. Not pressure, but stewardship. What God places in your hands is meant to flow through you, not stop with you. This is how increase stays healthy. This is how abundance remains aligned. Archangel Michael is guarding you from comparison in this season. What God gives you may look different from what He gives others. Comparison will only distort gratitude. Stay focused on your assignment. Stay faithful to your lane. You may also experience testing in subtle ways. Situations that invite ego. Opportunities that test patience. Conversations that challenge humility. These are not traps. They are confirmations. Heaven is ensuring you can carry what is being released without losing yourself. There is also a deeper call to consistency here. Increase is sustained through faithfulness in small things. Daily obedience. Quiet discipline. Honest prayer. Heaven values consistency more than occasional intensity. Archangel Michael wants you to hear this clearly. You do not need to rush to prove yourself. Increase will speak for itself. Fruit always reveals root. Stay rooted. You are learning how to balance confidence with dependence on God. Confidence without dependence becomes pride. Dependence without confidence becomes fear. Heaven is teaching you both. Now pause here for a moment. If this message is strengthening your understanding and grounding your spirit, help it reach others who are standing at this same turning point. Like this message so it moves further. Share it with someone who is stepping into greater responsibility. Leave a comment declaring that you are ready to steward what heaven entrusts to you. And if you have not yet, subscribe and stay connected, because what is unfolding here is part of a larger journey God is walking you through. There is something important about timing you must understand now. Increase often arrives quietly at first. It does not always announce itself as a breakthrough. Sometimes it shows up as an invitation, a conversation, or an idea that feels small but carries weight. Do not dismiss beginnings. Archangel Michael is reminding you to stay alert but not anxious, expectant but not impatient, prepared but not pressured. Heaven's rhythm is balanced. Follow it. You are also being protected from overextension. Saying yes to everything will drain what God is building. Discernment will help you know what to accept and what to decline without guilt. Not every good thing is your assignment. There may be moments when you feel stretched. Increase stretches capacity. But stretching is not breaking. It is expansion. Trust that God knows how far to stretch you without harming you. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that heaven's increase always comes with provision. You will not be asked to carry something without being given the strength, wisdom, and resources to sustain it. Do not look back at who you were when you started. Look at who you are now. Growth has already happened. Alignment has already deepened. You are ready for more, even if you feel humble about it. Hold on here. What is coming next will speak directly to legacy, impact, and why what God is doing in your life reaches far beyond your own story. Stay with this. This next revelation will connect everything you have walked through so far. My beloved one, now heaven lifts your vision beyond the present moment. Archangel Michael is drawing your attention to legacy, because what God had been shaping in you was never meant to end with you. This is not about fame or recognition. This is about impact that outlives seasons, influence that moves quietly through generations, and obedience that creates pathways for others to walk more freely. You may have thought your journey was only about personal healing, personal breakthrough, personal peace. And yes, heaven cared deeply about restoring you. But restoration was never the final destination. It was the foundation. What you have survived, what you have learned, and what you now carry has purpose far greater than self-preservation. Legacy does not begin at the end of life. It begins in daily decisions. How you speak when no one is watching. How you respond when it would be easier to withdraw. How you choose integrity when shortcuts are available. These moments feel small, but heaven records them carefully. Archangel Michael reminds you that legacy is built quietly. It is formed in consistency, not applause. The world celebrates visibility, but heaven honors faithfulness. You are being trained to value eternal impact over temporary validation. There is something about your life that will give others permission to believe again. Not because you are perfect, but because you are real. Your story carries credibility because it includes struggle, doubt, and perseverance. People will trust your light because they can sense the fire refined you, not destroyed you. You are becoming a bridge between fear and faith, between confusion and clarity, between survival and purpose. This role is not glamorous, but it is powerful. Bridges do not draw attention to themselves. They exist so others can cross safely. Archangel Michael is also addressing the weight you sometimes feel when you think about responsibility. You wonder if you are capable of carrying what God seems to be unfolding. Heaven answers gently, but firmly. You are not carrying it alone. Legacy is sustained by grace, not pressure. There will be moments when you feel unseen in your obedience. Moments when it seems like your faithfulness goes unnoticed. Do not let this discourage you. Seeds grow underground long before they break the surface. Heaven sees growth where you see only soil. You are also being taught to release outcomes. Legacy-minded people do not control results. They plant faithfully and trust God with harvest. Some fruit you will see. Some you will never witness. Both matter equally. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that humility protects legacy. Pride isolates. Humility multiplies. Stay teachable. Stay anchored. Stay aware that everything you have received is a gift meant to be stewarded, not possessed. You may begin to feel a stronger burden for others. Not in a heavy way, but in a compassionate way. A desire to encourage, to guide, to intercede. This is not random. This is influence awakening. Heaven expands hearts before it expands platforms. There is also a generational aspect to what God is doing. Patterns that existed before you are being broken through you. Cycles of fear, silence, limitation, where compromise are ending. This does not always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels like choosing differently in moments no one else notices. Archangel Michael reminds you that legacy builders must learn patience. You cannot rush what God intends to last. Quick results fade. Deep roots endure. Trust the pace heaven has set for you. You are not required to have all the answers to lead with integrity. You only need to remain honest, aligned, and willing. Leadership rooted in humility attracts trust naturally. There may be times when you question if your obedience truly matters. Hear this clearly: nothing done in alignment with God is wasted. Every act of faith contributes to a larger story, being written beyond your sight. You are not too late to build legacy. You are not behind schedule. Heaven does not measure life the way humans do. What matters is alignment, not age. Availability, not perfection. Archangel Michael is strengthening your resolve to stay faithful even when progress feels slow. Endurance is not passive. It is active trust. And you are learning it well. Let this truth settle deeply now. Your life is speaking even when you are silent. Your choices are teaching even when you are not aware. Your obedience is creating space for others to step into freedom. Stay grounded in this understanding. What heaven reveals next will bring everything to completion, tying purpose, obedience, and destiny together with clarity and authority. Remain present. The final revelation is approaching, and it carries both blessing and commissioning. My beloved child, now heaven brings this message to completion, not with an ending, but with a commissioning. Archangel Michael stands firmly in this moment, because what has been spoken to you was never meant to remain information. It was meant to become transformation. This is the point where understanding turns into embodiment, and revelation turns into responsibility. Everything you have sensed, learned, and received has been aligning you for this moment. You are no longer standing on the edge wondering if God will move. You are standing in the place where God is asking if you will move with Him. This is the final call, not because heaven withdraws after this, but because delay is no longer permitted without consequence. There is a shift happening now that cannot be undone. You may not feel dramatically different, but something has settled permanently. Confusion no longer has authority over you. Fear no longer dominates your decisions. The pull backward has weakened, and the pull forward has strengthened. This is confirmation. Archangel Michael is declaring that the season of preparation has reached its fulfillment. What you do next will shape how the next chapter unfolds. This is not about perfection. It is about alignment. You do not need to feel fearless. You need to feel willing. You are being entrusted with clarity because you have proven you will not misuse it. You are being given peace because you learn not to worship chaos. You are being strengthened because you learned humility and weakness. Heaven never promotes without preparation. There will still be challenges ahead, but they will not shake you the way they once did. You are no longer fighting for identity. You are moving from identity. You are no longer asking if God is with you. You are walking knowing He is. Archangel Michael is reminding you that obedience will now require consistency, not urgency. The dramatic turning point has happened internally. Now comes faithful execution. Daily choices. Quiet discipline. Steady trust. This is how destiny unfolds without collapse. You are also being released from the need for constant confirmation. You know God's voice more clearly than you realize. Trust it. The more you respond, the clearer it becomes. Doubt fades when obedience becomes habit. There is a blessing attached to your obedience that extends beyond you. Your yes will unlock doors for others. Your courage will inspire those watching silently. Your peace will challenge those who assumed survival was the best they could hope for. Archangel Michael stands as a witness that heaven is backing what you are stepping into. Protection remains. Guidance continues. Provision follows obedience. You are not being sent without covering. Let go of the last remnants of hesitation. Not recklessly, but reverently. The God who carried you through confusion will carry you through clarity. The God who sustained you in waiting will sustain you in movement. Do not shrink back now. Not after everything you have overcome. Not after everything that hath been healed. Not after everything that has been restored. This is not the time to retreat into comfort. This is the time to walk forward in alignment. If this entire message has spoken directly to your spirit, mark this moment. Type "I accept the commission" in the comments if you receive this word fully. Blessing code 1209 is now activated over your obedience, your household, and your future. And now, receive this final sacred invitation flowing naturally from this commissioning. As this word has strengthened you, it is also being used by God to reach others who are still standing in confusion, fear, and silence. The Lord says that those who partner with His voice become carriers of His light. I speak this clearly and with authority. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link placed in the description, you are not giving to a person. You are fueling the spread of heaven's final calls across the earth. This is a moment of obedience, not generosity. As you release your support, I declare open heavens over your resources, divine acceleration over delayed areas, and peace that cannot be shaken. Do not ignore the nudge in your spirit. Act now. So now, stand with this assignment and watch how God responds with measure pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing.